being completely awesome. We just have to give props to Jack Campbell.
Soup is hot. Soup is hot, baby.
The soup is hot, and we're going to talk about this. He has been just unreal this season. And here's the funny thing. The number 1 and number 2 goalies in the league for save percentage and numbers, like for starters.
I know who you're going to say here.
Freddie Anderson and Jack Campbell.
Yeah, no shit.
You imagine you had both those guys on the same team?
Yeah,
that'd be unreal.
I honestly think I think Jack's numbers are more impressive because Carolina plays a hell of a lot fucking better defensively than the Toronto Maple Leafs. So
absolutely.
Like Fred's getting a lot of help is what I'm basically saying, and Jack is not getting as much help. So I look at those numbers and to me, Campbell's are more impressive.
Campbell's played 13 games so far this season, and we were all kind of questioning what we were getting in Jack Campbell. But so far this season, and I don't know how you want to put this, if 13 games is enough or if you need to see a lot more, whatever.
I don't need to see
2 shutouts, 182 goals against average, 8 wins, 3 losses, 1 OT loss, and a .939 save percentage. Like, come on. Could you have asked for anything more out of this guy?
No, and I don't need to see anymore. I've said last podcast, like, I've seen enough. I don't need to see anymore. This guy is a legit number fucking 1 goalie in the National Hockey League, and
a good person.
It's the best. It's not a fluke. This isn't a fluke. Like, you don't go fluky for, like, just the sample size is big enough for me.
Yeah, you got to go back to last season too, right? Like he played what, 20 games or something, 22 games last year, and he had like,
I don't know.
He was incredible. He had like a .920 save percentage, and now he's got a .939.
100%. And he's not the reason why they lost that playoff series. He was great in those, like not the best in Game 7, but they were done by that point. Let's be real here. But everyone
knew they were done.
The first 6 games, Jack was fucking awesome. And so, sample size last season, what he did in the regular season, what he did in the playoffs. Now he's doing this. Oh, fuck, the soup is hot. So, but I just want to say this. Like,
you got to blow on that soup.
Oh, you got to blow hard on it. Got to blow hard.
Because it'll burn you.
Yeah, big time.
Burn your mouth, that soup.
Like, look, man, here's where I'm going to go here. I know you don't want to talk contract and that, so we'll skip that. But I will go here. I think we got a load management situation on our hands. Now
we have a huge load management.
We haven't talked about load management in quite a while on this podcast. Oh. It used to be a favorite subject of ours here at the show, but I think we got a big time load management situation on our hands here right now. Look, he has not been a starter in the league. He hasn't played. Look, I'm worried that he's going to get burnt out. He's going to be playing more games than he's ever played. Eventually he just might start to wear down as we get into the dog days, into, fucking January, February. Well, mind you, they have all of February off. So I guess that really might not be the situation this year. Like, they have all of February off.
Yeah.
Like, he might.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I think they still need to manage the load.
Yeah, with Jack, you got to manage that load.
Like, they're playing a lot of 4 games a week.
Oh,
like, dude. A lot. Like, schedule is jam packed, and the whole reason for bringing in Peter Mrazek was to take some of the load. He takes a bit of the load. You take a bit of the load. And like, spread the load.
Right, and we'll take
the load evenly. I just got so excited talking about load, I hit my microphone.
I know. I think that you might have just shot the load right there. But
I think I did. I got a little load on my mic.
You got a mess over there. But look, and we'll get to Peter Mrazek next here, okay? But I just wanted to see.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
If your thoughts were the same with me, like load management, like, I'm a little worried. Like, I don't want Jack to be burnt out when it's fucking playoff time, and he's like, kind of what's happened to Anderson before. Like, we got to play Anderson because we got nobody else. And then when it gets fucking time in the spring, like, he's doesn't have his A game because he's played so much fucking hockey. So I think load management is a real thing here, but how do you do that with, okay, are we talking about Wall? What if okay, so let's go to Mrazek then. since we did the last podcast, they came out like the next day and said, okay, we're shutting him down for a month, 4 weeks. He's going on LTIR, and he's fucking got 1 foot on the boat to Robida Island.
Yeah, he's pretty close. I mean, we have to give him a chance. He could come back and stay healthy and things could be good. But if this keeps rolling,
brutal start to his Leafs career. Absolutely fucking brutal.
If this groin keeps pulling,
lingering groin problems, this is not good.
If this keeps happening, man, I mean, but you have to look at it. Jack Campbell had some lingering groin problems last year, and he's bounced back beautifully. Maybe right. Peter Mrazek can do it. The only thing that really scares me is this is Peter Mrazek his entire career. Like, he's never been able to stay healthy for a long period of time. What makes us think this is going to be the time that he, miraculously can play 40 games, no problem?
That's just
it. It just doesn't happen for Mrazek.
No, it doesn't seem to. So, yeah, like, I have no faith in that. So then tying that all in together, how do you deal with the load management situation for Jack if Mrazek, isn't really going to be you won't be able to if you can't count on Mrazek this year because of the injuries. How do you play the load management situation for Jack? Is it Wall? Do you make a trade for another goalie?
You have to make a trade for another goalie. I mean, right now I want to see what Joseph Wall has, but I don't think Joseph Wall's ready to step in and play 35 games this year.
No.
And you don't want that, especially a Saturday night in Buffalo, you squeaked a win out. That was great. But when we get into the playoff push at the end of the year, what happens if Campbell has to miss 5 games, and you're playing Tampa and Boston and all these teams that are fighting for the last 2 playoff spots? Because it is going to be tight this year. You said it on the last podcast, and you're absolutely right. The Metro division could have the top 3 and the 2 wild cards, which means the only way to make the playoffs in the Atlantic is to be in the top 3.
Yep.
I don't know, man. You need someone reliable. And every team seems to have a solid backup, but the Leafs. Like, all the good teams in the league seem to have something. Even we were talking about Carolina, solid backup. Florida, solid backup. Boston, they got 2 goalies they're kind of riding, but they're both playing pretty good. Tampa's got a solid backup. Toronto, it's like up in the air. We're supposed to be Peter Mrazek, but if it's not, you got to go out and get one. And we have seen this time and time again. We watch a lot of movies on load management. You need 2 competent people to share the load. Am I right?
Yeah, that's 100% right. Like 90%, right?
100%
of the time.
Yeah. And that's how it is. If you need 2 competent people to share the load, that's 90% of the time, 100% of the time.
That's exactly right. I could not have said it better myself.
50% of the load, 100% of the time.
So anyway, we'll see how that plays out. It should be interesting, but geez, man, I don't know. It worries me. Just the whole playing Jack too much. He looks great. He looks great. They got 4 games this week. Guess what? He's going to play fucking 3 of them. So,
yep.
Maybe
what do we do if he gets hurt?
Oh, they're fucked. Then it's Hutch, even if it's Hutch and it's Wall.
That's what I'm saying, man. Even if it's just he tweaks something and all Campbell's day to day, he may miss 3 or 4 games. I don't know. What was it? Was it 2 years ago where Hutch had to go in and he was 4-1? I don't know what it was. He had a terrible record. Yeah, and someone's like, if you just had a backup
a competent backup.
Yeah, this is before Campbell came.
Yeah, this was just before COVID.
Campbell was on the team. I don't remember. Maybe Campbell was hurt.
No, Campbell was no. I think this was just before they made the trade for that. When did they make the trade for Campbell? It wasn't until February of.
Yeah, it was February
of 2019, I think.
So it was 2000. Yeah, maybe 2019. You're right.
So it was Freddie and Hutch up until that point, and Hutch was just no. Like you said,
had they were fighting for a playoff spot, and had they just got 500 or a little bit above or below 500 from their backup goalie, they would have been comfortably in a playoff spot. But they could not squeak out a win with Hutch.
You're right.
And we're going to be in that situation again, man. If Campbell gets hurt, they need to do something.
Yeah, I agree. As of right now, I'm cool with Jack. If Jack's okay, he's been playing so well. I have no problem with him carrying the load for now. But They're gonna have
For
to.
now.
They're gonna have to see what's up with Mrazek. He's due to be back in like, probably around the same time Mikheyev for like the first week of December or so. So we'll have to see what's up. But I think they gotta be really careful about this load management situation with Jack Campbell going forward. I just wanted to touch on that. Anything else before we move on?
Well, just when you come back from a groin injury, we know this. Everybody who's hurt their groin knows this. You can't take on a big load until
that's just it.
It's little loads until you feel comfortable, and then the loads get bigger and bigger and bigger as the groin gets healthier.
Exactly. So, okay. So then you're right. So how are they going to fucking find a load management situation for Jack Campbell? That being the case, what you just said, they're not going to throw Mrazek in and okay, now Mrazek's playing 3 out of 4 games. It's not going to happen.
No, it's even when he comes back, it's going to be a month of him just tinkering.
So it's still going to be Jack carrying the load.
Yeah. Jack's going to be carrying the load for a long time.
This could be a problem, not a problem because Campbell can't do it, a problem because he hasn't done it yet, playing this like a number one starter's amount of games for a full season.
And so far, unbelievable.
Great, 100%. But we're early days here, bro. And I have all the faith in the world in Jack Campbell. All I'm saying is, come the spring, I don't want him to be fucking gassed because he had to carry the load all fucking season because they had no one else to fucking back him up. That's what I'm saying.
Or when we need him the most, he gets hurt. Because you basically played him into the ground.
Right. Yep.
Anyway, we'll see what happens with that.
Hey everyone, Dale here. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. While you're here, why don't you take a look around at some of our other videos. And if you want to listen to the audio version of our podcast, we are available on all podcast platforms. You can check in the description below. And if you want to support the podcast, you can do so by going to our Patreon page, and you can find a link to that as well. The Tip In Maple Leafs Podcast.